What if I told you that the very thing you're trying to hide from the world is actually your greatest superpower? This story completely changed how I see my own flaws, and it might do the same for you. In the heart of ancient Persia, where golden sand dunes met bustling marketplaces filled with the scent of cardamom and rose water, there lived a young woman named Zara. She was 28 years old, and unlike the confident merchants and skilled craftspeople around her, Zara carried a heavy burden that made her want to disappear. You see, Zara had a terrible stutter. Every time she tried to speak, the words would get tangled in her throat like knots in silk thread. In a world where eloquent speech meant everything, where poets were celebrated and storytellers drew crowds, Zara felt completely worthless. Every morning, she would wake up and practice speaking in front of her small mirror, trying desperately to make the words flow smoothly. But the harder she tried, the worse it became. Her face would turn red, her hands would shake, and tears would blur her vision. She thought to herself, "Why am I so broken? Why can't I be like everyone else?" One day, while hurrying through the marketplace with her head down to avoid conversation, Zara heard people whispering excitedly about a mysterious mirror maker who had arrived from a distant land. They said his mirrors were unlike any others. They didn't just show your reflection, they revealed your true self. Nonsense, Zara thought. The last thing I need is to see more of myself. But something deep inside her, maybe curiosity, maybe desperation, pulled her toward the old man's shop. She found him sitting peacefully in a tiny workshop filled with mirrors of every shape and size. He was an elderly man with kind eyes and weathered hands that moved like poetry as he polished a silver mirror. When Zara approached, he looked up and smiled warmly. "Well, welcome, young lady," he said, and Zara's heart nearly stopped. This wise mirror maker, he stuttered too. "I see this surprise in your eyes," he chuckled softly. "You're wondering how someone like me became famous for making mirrors, aren't you?" Zara nodded, unable to speak at all now. "Let me tell you something," the old man continued, his voice gentle but strong. "For 40 years, I've fixed my speech. I visited healers, practiced endless hours, even stopped talking for months, hoping it would cure itself." He picked up a small, perfectly crafted mirror and handed it to her. "But one day, I realized something that changed everything. My stutter wasn't my weakness. It was my gift." Zara looked confused. "How can this be a gift?" she whispered. The old man's eyes twinkled. "Because when you stutter, something magical happens. People have to slow down to listen to you. They have to really pay attention to every word you say. Your words become more precious because they're harder to say." He gestured to all his beautiful mirrors around them. "When I speak to my customers, they don't just hear my words, they feel them. They see that I understand struggle, that I know what it means to fight for every syllable, and that makes them trust me with their reflections." Zara stared at the mirror in her hands, and for the first time saw something different. Not a broken girl with a speech problem, but someone whose words carried weight because they were earned through struggle. Every time someone buys one of my mirrors, they tell me their secrets, their fears, their dreams. Why? Because they know I understand what it's like to feel different. My stutter became my superpower. It made me the perfect person to help others see their true selves. Tears rolled down Zara's cheeks, but this time they were different tears.
So I'm saying that what makes you different isn't what's wrong with you. It's what's special about you. Your stutter doesn't make you less than others. It makes you rare. From that day forward, Zara began to see her stutter differently. She started volunteering to help other children who struggled with speech and discovered something amazing. Her patients felt instantly comfortable with her because she understood their pain. She became the most beloved speech helper in the city, not despite her stutter, but because of it. Her imperfection became her perfection. Years later, when people asked Zara how she found her calling, she would smile and say, "I stopped trying to fix what made me different and started using it to help others feel less alone." The mirror maker had taught her the most powerful truth of all. Your greatest weakness, when embraced with courage, becomes your greatest strength. So I want to ask you something. What are you trying to hide about yourself right now? What part of you feels broken or different or not good enough? What if that very thing, that struggle, that quirk, that thing you wish you could change, what if that's actually your secret superpower waiting to be discovered? The Mirror Maker and Zara discovered that our flaws aren't bugs in our system. They're features that make us uniquely qualified to help others who share our struggles. Sometimes the very thing we're most ashamed of becomes the very thing the world needs most from us. Remember, you're not broken. You're not less than. You're not a mistake. You're rare. You're needed. And your story, complete with all its stutters and struggles, might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. The question isn't, how do I fix myself? The question is, how can I use my story to light up someone else's path? What will you stop hiding and start sharing today?